D, wait for it, light bulb.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? I just woke up and I watched Superman and Lois, episode 3 of season 2. And let me just tell you right now, they did a little bait and switch on us, you guys. And I'm not mad about it, but I'm all like, you guys, you tricked us and I don't like it. But I have to say this episode was good. I did like it. I liked some of the stuff they did here. I did, even though they did a little bait and switch with us and they tricked us a little bit, I did I wasn't mad because I had thought they I don't want to, I'll say it when we get to it, but I'm not mad about it, but I'm happy that they did something different and what they did different. So I'm going to get started on this breakdown in just a second. But before I do, they're introducing a lot of bad guys here, and one of them I didn't know until I looked it up because I was like, it's the female villain. I was all like, who is this and everything, and who is she supposed to be? And then I looked up, I was like, oh, shut up, I know who this is because I read the comic book with this character in it. And I was like, man, I totally forgot about it. Now I got to go back and grab those and read it to see, what they're going to do there. I'm going to get started on this breakdown now. But before I do, as always, if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get pushed to the back of the line. In fact, it's quite annoying. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So why don't we go ahead and get started on this breakdown? So it starts off with Clark, Superman, up in space, and he's listening. And he's listening and he's focusing on the quarry in Smallville. So he flies down, but he can't get too close because every time he gets closer to it, he gets like all those little visions or whatnot. And he falls and he hits the earth and he's like, oh man, shucks, what's going down? And he gets back home and he's like, I can't get close enough. Every time I do, it hurts me even more. Sorry, I need coffee right now. And so they're trying to figure it out, and they're going to try to get into the mines, but they're like, she's like, I'll go. And they're like, no, don't you think it's a little weird if a reporter goes? And he's like, I'll do it. And she's like, I'll contact my dad and he'll get you stuff. And then she's all like, listen, you said you would help us that one time and you did, and you can't do it again. And he's like, no, this is part B. I'm so sorry. I just woke up. I'm so sorry. The show is not boring. It's so good. I just, So they decide that that's what they're going to do. So then Jordan talks to Jonathan. Jonathan's a little obsessed with Timmy, this Tim kid, because he knows he's doping. And he is. And Jordan's all, and because he's like, I want to be quarterback. And I get it. But at the same time, drugs are not the way. Steroids are not the way either. I've always thought cheating sucks. If you want to win or you want something, you need to earn it. And if you don't win, then you didn't earn it. And I know it sucks because everybody else is not playing by the rules and you're trying to play by the rules. I get it. But I'm like, whatever. So then Jordan comes in and he's all like, I don't know what to do about Sarah kind of thing. And then she comes in, she's like, can I give you a female perspective and everything? And I was like, and don't get me wrong, I like Natalie, but I'm like, I don't like her advice. So she comes in and she's like, listen, it's really hurting her. And she felt really good telling you her secret, which I'm like, that's good. And he's like, yeah, but I don't know. But she's like, you're holding on to a secret. And he's like, it's not the same thing. And she's like, yeah, but yours is like 10 times worse. And I'm all like, you know what? No, it's not. Okay. Cheating on somebody is a big deal. And yes, it was only a kiss. So I'm pretty sure it's not bad. It's not as hard to get over if she had sex with somebody else. But I'm like, Superman in this episode is very much right. You don't give away your identity, because if somebody wants to know Superman's identity, he just kidnaps Lois and then they shove her off a building. You know what I'm saying? So then he's and Jonathan's all like, yeah, you need to tell her, because when you tell her you're Superboy, how do you think is she going to react the way you're reacting right now? And is that what you want, kind of thing? Which is a solid point. That's a solid point. But at the same time, I go, yeah, you get cheated on, see what happens. So Lana is still she's setting up for in this diner. And why are they having stuff in small diner? Like, but it's like whatever. She's her daughter's asking her questions, and she's going over stuff that she's gonna say and stuff. And her husband's like, "You got this," and she's like, "Yeah," but she's like, "I'm not a public speaker," and they're doing these 0-interest loans or whatnot. And she's like, I get nervous, and is what I have to offer enough and everything. And I'm all like, Lana, you're shooting yourself short and everything. And then they're like something about how Sarah doesn't want a quinceanera. And as soon as they said that, though, I'm like, what? How does she not want a quinceanera? Quinceaneras are fun. It's just a party, I'm all like, listen, I don't. It's like bar mitzvahs and everything. You go. There is so much fun. Like, even though like they're like birthdays, but like I don't know, they're like better. Like, because you only get one bar mitzvah, and it's like the funnest. And like, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why Sarah would not want a quinceanera. I don't get it, but whatever, it's fine. And she gets to wear a nice dress, and I don't get it. But anyways, but her dad's all like, no, she's doing it. And I'm like, yeah, make her do it, because she may say she doesn't want one, but she will love it so much. She will not regret it. I tell you what. So then Lois is watching this one. This is Alliston, and she has the inverse theory. And this is the woman that almost that had a woman commit suicide, and then Lucy, her sister, almost committed suicide over it. And this, okay, I'm going to tell you who this character is. So there's a new version of Parasite, it's female, and her brother is Alexander. I wonder if he'll be in it or not. But she's basically Parasite and everything. And I'm curious as to if they'll go, and she's like all purple, like the original Parasite was, and then her brother's all green and everything. I have to remember, because I think that he doesn't want to be Parasite and look the way they do, but she's fine with it. I can't remember all of it. So but she's watching it. She's talking to her dad, and she's all like, yo, I need your help with this. And then she talks about Alliston's comeback and everything. And he's all like, oh, and then these guys, they're heading off to school. And then he's like, hey, Dad, I want to tell Sarah my secret. And he's like, absolutely not. And he's all like, but I want to, and everything. And he's like, listen, I didn't tell your mom my secret until I knew that I loved her. And he's like, I love her. And he's like, yeah, you do now, because you're 16 and you're 14 and you're stupid. And he's all like, no, he's like, I want to tell her. And he's like, no, and everything. And he gets all crazy. And then she's like, Dad, I have to let you go. She's like, go into the house. I'm going to take the kids to school. And Superman Clark is 100% right on this. And he makes a good point later. So then she comes in and she's like, what's going on? He's like, I can feel what's happening to this creature in the mines, this person in the mines. I feel it. I feel what's going on. I know what's going on with them and everything. So, and he's like, I black out kind of thing. I don't know what's going on. So back at school, Sarah comes up and she's like, I tried to call you. I texted you. I thought you would text. And he's basically like, I don't know where we go from here, and I need some time kind of thing. And then these two are talking. She's like, yeah, Timmy is doping. I saw him buying some of that vapor drug that one guy, I knew that's what it was. It's going to be a big thing this season. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, because I knew you'd freak out like you're doing right now. And everything. So Lana's having her little meeting with this stuff, and people are asking about the 0% loans or whatnot. And they're feeling good about it. But then this guy behind here, this big guy right here, this fat guy right here, he's all like, yeah, but he's all like, are they going to be like the loans that you gave us last time? Because I lost my farm because of those loans. And she's like, I wasn't aware of all that stuff when the loans happened. And he's like, yeah, but didn't you help recruit people that almost destroyed this town? And she's like, I didn't know what Morgan Edge was doing. And he's like, you didn't know a lot of what Morgan Edge was doing. Is that going to be your response every time something comes up with your mayor? I don't know, or I didn't know. And she doesn't answer anything. And me, I would have been like, if I don't know, then yeah, that will be my answer. And he's like, see, she can't even answer a simple question, and you want her to be mayor. He was a little harsh, but I get it. He lost his farm, so I get why, he he didn't he doesn't have any faith in her. But I just want to say right now, they're putting a lot of blame on Lana. And if she didn't know, I mean, like, let's be honest, she didn't know. I mean, we know as the audience, she didn't know, but maybe these people didn't know. So then they're talking, he's like, listen, there's something that is hurting you, Clark. We need to tell Colonel Anderson. I can't stop thinking of the Matrix every time I hear the last name Anderson. And they're like, no. And he's like, listen, if you are the most powerful person on the planet, if somebody is there something that can hurt you, he needs to know. And he's like, no. And he gives John this pass, and he's going to the mines. And then she's like, hey, Allie's back. And they go and she sees the article, and she's like, did you read my article about her? And he's like, no. She's like, why not? Why can't she's like, and he says something about like talking to Lucy, and she's like, why can't you ever support me? He's like, because I can't lose Lucy. And I thought it was very interesting. I really like this dynamic of it. Because it just shows the contrast of kids and parents and everything. Like, I have a completely different relationship with both my children, because they're different. Like, me and my son, we're constantly wrestling and everything. And my daughter, yeah, she'll do it every now and then, but she likes to have tea parties and stuff. And me, I'm all like, don't you want to go and like my son, if I have a bookshelf, like, he helps me build all these bookshelves in my office, and my daughter wants none of that. She wants none of that. So we have like a different relationship. And the same thing here. And I get that he didn't want to lose Lucy. So then they're playing football. Timmy's doing great. They're doing great and everything. John's jealous, and I get it. I totally get it. And he's all like, hey, he's like, what did he say? Something about like, with some of my talent, I'll have to rub off on you. He's like, yeah, I know you're doping. That's pathetic. He's like, yeah, well, your girlfriend sold me the drugs. So who's pathetic now? And so they get into a fight. They separate them. And Clark takes me, and he's all like, listen, I got mad. He's all like, something, I can't remember what he says here, but Clark throws the helmet. It goes right into the side of this vending machine. And then he's like, Jonathan, go, and everything. He's like, what's going on? He's like, I can't show it. And he blasts his eye beams into his hands. And Burton's saying, he's like, Dad, we have to go home now. And they go home, and he's like, I can feel, he's like, I couldn't stop my eye beams and everything. And then they come in, and Jordan, being a little douche, because he's such a little whiner. I'm telling you right now, they need to, I like that he's standing up and give a little bit back, but at the same time, I'm like, don't be a little douchebag. All right. Your dad's right on this. He knows a little bit more than you, because you're 15 and you don't know shit. He's like, oh, did the rage head come out again? He's like, it's different and everything. Look at that face. That's so funny. Anyways, and he's like, oh, and everything. I do that when I get mad. I'm like, oh. So then she's like, go to your rooms or whatnot and everything. And she's all like, and then this is where he's all like, you need to tell Anderson. He's like, if there's something that could take you down. And he's like, no, because they'll get those kids involved. And he's like, maybe those kids need to get involved. And those kids are supposed to be like the Supermen of America. And I don't remember reading those in the comic books. So anyway, so we get back to her. By the way, this lady is a bad guy too, which I don't know this bad guy either. I can't remember. Let's Rampage. If I have seen this comic book character also, I don't remember her. I'm pretty sure I haven't though. She turns into Rampage. It's like an orange skin supervillain. Anyways. So he's got the credentials, and they go into the cave. So then Lana, she's upset, and she's like, I'm not running for mayor. And he's like, come on, you can do this. And she's like, and then finally, she's just like, listen, she's like, how could I think that I could do this? I couldn't even answer a simple question and everything, which she's beating herself up way too much over this. It's not that big a deal. She had one tiny setback, like calm it down. So she's like, I'm going to go take a bath with lots of bubbles. Baths are gross. It's like sitting in your own dirt. Ugh. I don't care how many bath bombs you have. It's gross. But then she so then she's like, I'm gonna go take a bath, and then I just please watch Sophie so she doesn't bother me. So back at the house, so he's talking to her, and she's like, I'm trying to call my dad because she knows he went to the mines, but he won't answer and everything. He's all like, I can't remember what he says here. And then she's like, you're by herself. He's playing Madden in there. You want some action? He's like, are you playing? She's like, yeah, did you not ask me because I was a girl? And he's like, yeah, kinda, and everything. And she's like, oh, well, now I'm gonna take you down even more. And he's like, oh, well, let's go do this and everything. And of course she wins, which is like fine, but I'm all like, did she win or did she just win because of like, reasons? So then Clark is sitting here and he's upset and she's like, listen, I get it. You want to figure this thing out. He's hurting you, yada, yada, yada. And now he's trying to take over your body or some crap like that. But she's like, you need to apologize to the boys for what you said to them. And he's like, I don't think my dad ever yelled at me like I yelled at them. And I was like, oh, well, your dad was a saint. Okay. Because I remember getting yelled at very much as a child and everything. But yeah, so, and he really didn't, she's like, you need to apologize to what you said to them. And I'm like, he really didn't say anything bad. Like, that's the thing. Like Jonathan, I mean, Jonathan, I mean, when he threw the football helmet, he didn't really say anything bad. And then when he yelled at him in the kitchen, he was just like, it's different. I mean, and then before he was telling Jordan, like, he couldn't tell his girlfriend his secret. I was like, he really didn't say anything bad. Anyways, so they're in the mines and he's like, is that blood? She's like, oh my God, it is. Like, so like bad acting. Not the actress was being bad actor, but the character was bad acting. And so he's like, he's in here and he's like, there was a collapse and everything. And he's like, this is a detonation residue. He's like, did somebody detonate something? And then she knocks him out. She's like, they did, and everything. So then they're back in the kitchen and she's like, yeah, I took you down. He's like, oh, I'm sorry and everything. And then he's like, can I have a moment with the boys? And she's like, I'm going to take my chips, my victory chips. I would have too. Chips are delicious. And he's like, I want to talk to you guys. He's like, I'm sorry that I freaked out on you guys. What can I do to make it up to you? And he's like, you could show me how to drive the truck. Give me truck driving lessons. It's probably a stick. Stick is a little bit harder to learn. You got to learn all the gears and stuff, but buy a stick because nobody will steal it. Nobody knows how to drive a stick these days. If you buy a stick shift, no one will steal your car. I guarantee it. And he's like, lessons will begin next Saturday. Can I please talk to Jordan alone? And he talks to Jordan. He's like, listen, he's like, I know you want to tell her your secret, but you don't understand. If he's like, I understand that this guilt is weighing down on you, but if you tell her and something happens, that guilt to her because of you, because she knows your secret and they're trying to get to you, that guilt will hurt you 10 times more than this guilt will. And he makes excellent points. Superman is very smart and he makes excellent points. And Jordan just doesn't know anything because he's a child and he doesn't know. And children don't know anything. They're not as smart as everybody thinks they are. Especially them. They think they're so smart, but they're not that smart. So then he's all like, hey, he's like, if you want to give Sarah, he doesn't say a grand gesture because that's what Jonathan says later, but he's like, I got an idea. So then this Dr. Fairmont, it's not Fairmont. I don't remember her name, Dr. whatever. She sets us some charges and then they're trying to get a hold of John Henry and he hasn't moved, he says. And then she's talking to him and he's like, listen, he's all like, I read the article and he's like, I didn't know what kind of world that was because I didn't want to and then I did see something about how in an article about how that cult is very like Nixus or Nixium, the cult that the woman that played Chloe on Smallville, how it was kind of like a cult like that one. And I'm all like, that is so interesting. Look into that. It's so interesting and like interesting, not in a good way, It's so weird. I don't understand cults. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, maybe I could be duped by one, but I don't think so. Cause I'd just be like, this is crazy. Anyways, I can't remember what they say here, but he's like, I read it. I'm glad you saved her or something like that. Anyways, so then Sarah comes in and she's all like, I'm just trying to wind down. I don't know why I thought I could do this. And she's like, Mom, you're awesome. And she's all like, what's going on with you? And she's like, I kissed a girl at camp and I liked it. And she's like, I'm not ashamed and everything. And she shouldn't be. Listen, sometimes you're curious and you're a kid, you kiss girls. I did it plenty of times. Anyways, I know it's hard to believe. But and she's like, listen, and she's like, I don't know what's going to happen with you and Jordan. She's like, listen, if Jordan doesn't realize that you made a mistake and that you're sorry about it, and he doesn't want to try to fix things, then he's missing out, and he doesn't deserve you because you're amazing. And she is. I think Sarah's a good character. And she's like, I just wish I could be like you, be you say who you are and you be who you are. I wish I could be like that, but no, I want to run for mayor like a big idiot and everything. She's like, what? She's like, I got an idea. So she takes her and everything. And then they're sitting there and she's talking to him. I can't remember what they say here. But then he gets the flashes and he's like, he's breaking out and everything. So then he breaks out and boom. And this is, and they surround him and everything. And I thought this was going to be Doomsday because this is the classic Doomsday costume from the comic books. I showed it to you last week. I didn't pull up an image here yet this time, but it's fine. You can go and look. But this is the very first costume he has or outfit he has in the comic books. So when he did this, I was all like, because I read an interview where the showrunner said, in the first episode, you were going to get a glimpse. In the second step, or you were going to get a tease. In the second episode, you were going to get a glimpse of him, and we did. And then the third episode, you were going to see him full on Doomsday. And I always thought since that, I was like, this is too early to do Doomsday. It's way too early in the show to do Doomsday. I don't mind that they do Doomsday, but it's really too early for Doomsday. Really, really is. I don't think season 2 is the season to do that in. So then he fights all these soldiers. By the way, this outfit is very, I thought it would look stupid in real life, but it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. So then they're fighting, they're shooting, can't defeat him because he's, it's Doomsday. He picks up his truck, throws it, explodes, yada, yada, yada. Clark shows up, Superman, and he sees him. He's like, ooh. He also reminds me of a Master Blaster from Beyond Thunderdome, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. So they see each other, and then boom, they go at it. They're fighting. It's the fight of the century. They realize that John is not awake because he's in this cave and he's all passed out and everything. And they're like, wake up. And he's like, bring me the suit. And she's like, you are very low on the pew pews and everything, the solar flares and everything. He's like, doesn't matter, send it. And he looks like he's low on oxygen. System powers at 44%. Maybe he shouldn't have gotten into this fight. And the suit flies off. She sees the suit and everything. So they're fighting. Their fight was very short, but good. I liked it a lot. They're spending the money that they need to, and I'm happy about that. Although the fight between these two later on is going to have a big. So he's like, hey, she's like, suit incoming in 5, 4. And he runs. And this was very cool. Again, spent the money. Thank you, Warner Brothers, for spending the money. And the suit does a very cool Iron Man thing where he jumps into it and it breaks apart and then it slides onto him. So freaking cool. And then he starts shooting. But the solar flares are not working. And he blasts the helmet right there. You can see it. He blasts the helmet and then he hits him. And he goes flying and he's like, ooh, and he flies into this and he's out for the count. He's out. So in he's punching him and you see the face and it's not Doomsday, you guys. And he stops him from punching him and then he looks up at him and it's Bizarro. It's Bizarro, you guys, because it's Clark, but he's got the scars and the blue eyes and everything. And he's all like, me got you. I couldn't figure out what he was saying. I tried to move it back and everything, but I couldn't figure it out, you guys. And then I tried to put on the closed captions. Those wouldn't work for some reason. I could see what people were saying except for him. I couldn't figure out what he was saying because he talks backwards. And so but then they start to get those little headaches that Clark had gotten before, and they start to see stuff both of them do. So now I'm wondering if Doomsday is coming, but they both are now being affected by Doomsday. Because they both get the little and everything. So now I'm all like, all right, is there another force and it's Doomsday stopping them from, like Clark was before, and they thought it was Bizarro and everything. Yeah, see, they get those visions. And so I think Doomsday is coming. And still it's still too soon, I think. So then he sees him and he flies away. And he's like, what the hell was that? So he's like, it looked just like me, but yada, yada, yada. And he's all like, so like, we have to tell him and everything. And so they're going to tell Anderson, and they're going to they're going to get those Supermen the Supermen of America involved, those 3 kids. It'll be very interesting to see all this go down. They won't have a big all-out fight, which bums me out because it probably costs too much, but I would love to see it. So then he's sitting on the porch. He's like, going to give Sarah another grand gesture. And he's like, yeah, I got to fix this, and everything. He's all like, and he's like, hey, listen, I'll do this with Sarah some other time. He's like, you're my brother. You're my twin. You need me. Totally get that. I'm a twin. And I would be there for him in any way he needed. And he's like, no, go. I'm going to fix it. Go do your thing with Sarah and everything. I'll be fine. So then so Natalie's all like, listen, she's like, you didn't tell me. And he's like, I didn't have time to tell you. She's all like, she's like, I thought we were going to get back to normal. And he's like, Nat, I'm sorry, but I don't think we're ever going to be able to get back to normal and everything. I don't think it's possible. And she's like, you can't go back out again without telling me. And then she's like, and you can't go back out in that suit until we fix it. She's like, and then she names off all the stuff that's wrong with it. And she's like, I hope they fix the helmet. Like, listen, I like John Henry Irons in this show. He's a good character. And so is Nat. Nat's a good character too. I think she becomes a superhero too. That'll be interesting to see too. But I wish the helmet was a little bit more like the comic books. I understand why it's not, and I'm not mad about it, but I do wish it was. And he needs to use the hammer more because the hammer is very cool. And she's like, I've never fixed a robot in a barn before. And he's like, well, maybe we'll have to fix that, which means they're going to move, which is cool. So then these two are saying she's going to see Lucy. She contacted Lucy and she's going to go see her, but she's nervous. He's like, just go. You got this. And so then we hop over to Lana and she's cooking dinner. And she's like, hey guys, I'm running for mayor. And she's like, I thought, what a way to get to know me. And what I stand for is, at home. She's like, I'm a working mom. I'm one of you kind of thing. I'm a woman of the people kind of thing. And she's like, so I'm cooking my mother's famous marinara sauce that my daughter's obsessed with. And there's like, and everything. And she's like, so listen, why don't we hang out for a little while? And if you have any questions, just throw them at me and everything, and I'll try to answer as much as I can. And then she gets her glasses because she's like, I don't know how to work this. And I'm all like, who doesn't know how to work a live stream? I don't like live streams, but anyway, so then Jordan shows up and he's like, can I talk to you? And she's like, is this a bad talk or a good talk? And he's like, and he's basically like, listen, he's like, open this. And she opens it and it's this heart necklace. And she's like, this is beautiful. And he's like, my grandfather gave it to my grandmother when they were in high school. And it's basically like a promise ring, but a promise necklace. He's like, listen, Sarah, he's like, I love you. And he's like, and nothing, not even a kiss is going to change that. And he's like, I want to give this to you because I want to love you for a very long time. And I thought it was cute and everything. And then they kissed and everything. And I'm glad they got back together because I do like them as a couple. In season 1, they were so stinking cute, with their little will they, won't they nonsense and everything. And I like, and I like them here. I just don't like that everybody's all like, if you don't tell her your secret, you can't be mad at her. I'm like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. They're two totally different things. Like apples, and it's like comparing apples to nuclear fission. They're totally different. Anyways, so he goes to his girlfriend's house and he's like, why didn't you tell me that you were selling Timmy drugs? And she's like, because I knew you'd be like this. She's like, if you're going to break up with me, just break up with me. He's like, I don't want to break up with you. And she's like, I don't want to sell drugs. I'm doing it to help my dad so we don't end out on the street. And she's like, if you want to break up with me, break up. And he's like, I don't want to break up with you. I want you to sell drugs to me. And I was like, man, I knew they were going to go down this route. I knew it. And I get it. It's a route to do and everything. And it gives him some character development and a story arc and everything. I just knew they were going to do, but it's like, whatever. Anyway, so Lois is waiting at the diner for her sister, and in walks Allie Alliston. And she's like, hey, Lois, Lana's not coming. Or not Lana, Lucy's not coming. But she thought it would be better if I came instead. And I was like, well, she and you thought wrong, bitch. If I was Lois, I'd grab her by the hair and just start be like you try to take my sister away, huh? Isn't that how girls fight? They just grab hair and they just do this. So then we go to the Fortress of Solitude, which I missed the Fortress of Solitude. I'm bummed that they got rid of it in season 1. I wish they hadn't done that. I liked it, even though and I thought the architecture of it just looked like a cave and everything, but somebody explained that it needed to look like that because in the real world, with satellites and stuff, if there was a fortress up in the Arctic, the government would be able to see it. And I was like, that makes perfect sense. So then they go, Bizarro lands and he starts to take off his suit. And you see his costume. He's got a torn cape and everything. And he's got the thing around his neck and everything. And I think he says home. But in backwards, but I don't even know. Like I said, the closed captions wouldn't show up. I couldn't see it. And I was like, man, this is such a bummer. I'll try to figure out later, but I don't know what they're going to do in the future. Yeah. So that is my breakdown. And again, I'm happy that they did do Bizarro instead of Doomsday, although I do think Doomsday is still coming, because I thought Doomsday was just a little too soon, because I just thought Doomsday was too soon. But yeah, so tell me, what did you guys think about I can't wait for next week. I'm very curious to see. I want to see him fight because he shows up I saw the promo and he shows up at the house and everything, and I'm very curious to see what they do. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought about this episode. Tell me, did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? What was your favorite part? Are you like me and you're happy that they're doing Doomsday or not doing Doomsday and they're doing Bizarro instead of Doomsday? Do you wish they would have done Doomsday? Do you think Doomsday is still coming? Do you think that him and Bizarro are both affected by the little thingy or whatnot? Yeah, just go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my breakdown and review of Lois and Superman and Lois. You guys have a good week. Bye.